Well, good afternoon, listeners. Thank you for listening to Lament of Hope podcast, and I'm very blessed today. I get to do a short interview here with Pat Boone. I don't really think he needs much of an introduction. I mean, he's done so many films and music, and his name is still well known. And my favorite, I don't know if this is strange to you, Pat, but I watched Journey to the Center of the Earth when I was a little kid. And we would watch it about every year because my sister and I loved it.
Really?
And your song, the song that you sing about my love is like a red, red rose. My sister and I used to sing that to each other all the time.
Oh, boy, what you have picked is what I have referred to many times, is if you want to judge my singing by one song, I could be very happy if you just chose that one song. Now, of course, I'd like it. I'd prefer it to be one of the Christian songs that I've written, if you're going to pick one song. But if in a secular way, at least, and from my film performances, that song, "My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose," I'd like to be remembered for that song. And so with you and your family, I got my wish. It's just, it's the purest, just singing purely, no gimmicks, no trying to be commercial or anything, but simply sing something from the heart the best I possibly can as a vocalist, as an example of what I can do vocally and what I'd like to be remembered for, the ability. And I give you an example of Bing Crosby or Perry Como, in some cases Frank Sinatra, but not in all of his music, but of somebody who, when you hear that voice, they're singing sincerely. It's not just a performance. It's somehow an expression of who he or she is that comes out in the music.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you were talking about secular and Christian there, I mean, it is a song that talks about love in a pure way. So I do think, even though it's not necessarily as a Christian label on it, it still very much promotes a pure love.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing. I think that's in of itself spiritual.
So you were very young. Was it you and your sister that liked it so much? Well, that moves me even more because I have 4 daughters. I do have 4 daughters. I've got 16 grandkids, 17 great-grandkids. And you happen to choose a song, "My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose," that I would most want my descendants to know and to remember that your daddy or granddaddy sang that way and sang that song as an example of my career. Really, I can't sing better than that. And I don't know anybody personally who can either, because I just happened to nail a beautiful song, very poetic song. I think it has a spiritual quality, though it was in just a film, A Journey to the Center of the Earth. But it just expresses the best I can how I'd like to sound and for people to remember me sounding as a singer. My love is like a red, red rose. And I just sang it even better than that, even. And that was not perfect. But way I sang it in the film is the closest to perfect that I can come. So you just happen to choose something that's very special to me.
Do people tell you that song often? I would think they would. Do they not? No. Really?
You're one of the very first ever to pick that song. There have been 2 or 3 others I can't remember right now, but it pleases me so that it's just in the film, and people can take it for granted. I mean, it was a nice scene. I was singing to Diane Baker a love song, and then the movie moves on from there. But for me, it was a signal moment. They had to. I didn't want to do a science fiction film anyway, because I was doing romantic musicals at that moment, and they were sort of slanted toward a teen audience, young audience, and I had been influenced in my career by Bing Crosby, who I thought was the quintessential singer of pop music, and certainly millions of others thought so too. And he had this, it was a kind of a crooning, crooning style, ba ba boo, ba boo, boo boo. But I wanted to sing this song to my love in the film, and I just happened to catch it at the right moment in my life and my voice. And for me, if I can only be remembered technically and vocally for one thing, one song, that would be it. Although so many other Christian songs, even that are written and come right out of my soul and my spirit, are very important to me. But anyway, we've talked about this one song just because you picked it when you were a child, and my own daughters and grandkids love it, and so do I.
Can I ask, what's the hardest thing you've been through in your 91 years? Because you're 91, right?
91, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, there's two or three things that I would have to mention. One is being separated from my wife of now 66 years, 60 more than that. Oh my gosh. My wife, 6 years. She's been gone for 6 years, but our marriage was in 1953. So I can't do the arithmetic, but losing her 6 years ago, and knowing that she's in heaven and that I talk to her frequently. I can't hear her answer, but I do think I'm getting nudges and affirmations from her. She is my only other half. I've had people, since she went to heaven, several people say, there's a young woman. She's about 70 years old. She plays tennis. She's very intelligent. She's a Christian. You ought to get to know her. And I know what they're doing. They're trying to come up with a replacement. And I always have to quickly say, wait a minute. There's not going to ever be another Mrs. Pat Boone. There's only one. And she's waiting for me now, where Jesus said, where, in his own words, "He that believeth in me, I'll prepare a place for him or her, that where I am, she may be, or he may be also." So I know that my wife is ready, tidying up a mansion, and not that it needed tidying up, but for her personal touch. And I'll be with her before too long now. So, but losing her and being now separated all these several years, living alone in the house that we inhabited since 1960, and that looks like we may be selling soon. I may be selling soon. It was the home where I raised my daughters, always the home place for all of my descendants. But, it makes sense for me to get my affairs in order. I'm working out at the gym now regularly. I broke a femur or a hip about 2 years ago now, but I'm recovering from that perfectly and working out in the gym. And I think I'm going to take up golf again because I can swing the golf club and I can hit the ball. I may have given up tennis because I'm not sure I can get back on the tennis court and play well enough to, because I could always trip easily on a tennis court, and I don't want that to happen. But I think I can keep my balance and hit the golf ball pretty well. I know I can because I have in the last month or two hit golf balls and hit them well because I keep my head still. My left arm is firm, and I hit right through, and I can swing through my hip that was broken, but it's functioning now. I was in the gym this morning working out very strenuously proving that my legs and hip and my whole body is probably stronger now than before I broke the hip because of the gym work that I've been doing since. So that was a major setback in my life, but I'm overcoming it. And I don't know, I think when I helped start the American Basketball Association, I'm the only entertainer that was involved in that. And I'm going to meet Steph Curry eventually and let him know that I think he owes me for the millions he has raised with that 3-point shot. We initiated that in the ABA. And I owned the team of the Oakland Oaks that won the championship our second year. And that was 1959. I've got a ring I wanted to show, a championship ring. I wanted to show Elizabeth Taylor when she was alive, and show her a ring that cost me more, several $1 million, more than any ring that Richard Burton gave her. But I never got a chance to show her that ring. But I keep it under wraps. It's valuable to me. It cost me a whale of a lot. But the disappointment was the ABA went out of business and nearly bankrupted me in the process. But again, I've recovered from that. And God has blessed me with the ways to keep on. I had the principal interest in Orange County's only commercial television station, Channel 56. And we sold that for a big price eventually. And I've been able to keep on going. I am a giver, and I love to be a cheerful giver, which God says he loves. Well, he has enabled me to keep on being a cheerful giver, not just to causes like the Salvation Army and to so many Child Evangelism Fellowship and the ships, the mercy ships, those things that are such wonderful, wonderful, pure causes and helping people that need our help so much. The ones that are giving housing and support to all of our fighting men and women who died, not who didn't die, but who were wounded so badly, and they paid a horrible price. Well, I like to contribute to those things, and to several women in my life, my wife's sisters, and her sisters' family, and my own sisters in their 80s that I contribute to on a monthly basis. And I want to keep on giving. But when, in the last 2 years where I wasn't performing, I wasn't making any money from anything that I was doing, except from a business management firm that I've since severed with because they weren't doing their job well for me. In fact, they were costing me money. And I've had to recover from setbacks like that. But God is so good that he knows my heart, and he knows that I am a giver and I want to keep on giving. I even gave a book to Howard Hughes, the multi-billionaire, who was closeted in a bubble. He was so afraid of getting germs that he cut himself off from any physical relationship to any human beings. And I had a book that I thought would help him, and I signed it to Howard Hughes, who has almost everything. I wanted him to know what it is he doesn't have. And it was a relationship with Jesus that could enable him to come out of that bubble that he was living in, cut off from all humanity except for food and drink, which had to come in mysterious ways, but not handled by human beings. He was so afraid. And his caregivers eventually took him, I don't know, to some South American country where they thought he could be cured of that, but he died there in that bubble. But I was trying to help the multi-billionaire come out of what he was suffering from by suggesting that he spend the rest of his life and the rest of his billions as diligently giving it to people that needed it and could profit and benefit from it, as he had diligently built his huge fortune. But have the earthly earthly cheer and benefit from giving it away and seeing how people could benefit from his giving. But I sent him the book, but I don't know if he read it because it had been touched by other human beings. And I should have suggested somebody read it to you. But I did something similar with H.L. Hunt, who was another multi-billionaire who was a fan of mine. And such a fan that when I was making the movie State Fair and he visited me from his mansion in Dallas, and I gave him a pair of my white buck shoes, which when I saw him next time, he was wearing my white buck shoes that were sort of a trademark for me that was unintentional. But I was the first guy to wear shoes like that on television as a teen idol. Other kids in high school and college were wearing their white bucks, but I was the first entertainer to wear them on television. So instantly they became a trademark for me, where for years, if I wasn't wearing white bucks in all my performances, the teens that expected to see me wearing them were disappointed. So those crazy things have happened in my life, but God has been my friend, as he promised to be, and helped me when I may have made serious judgments in my finances. I mean, maybe it wasn't financially wise for me to have not just helped start the ABA, but to own personally the winning team the second season. But then the whole league went bankrupt, and with it, my team. But I've come out of that. I've recovered, and the television station sold, and that was a wonderful return on my investment. There have been other things that I've lent money to people which did not succeed. I was trying to help them, and they didn't succeed, so the money was lost to them and to me. But I was trying to help them, and God has given me the blessing of recouping some of what I lost in the things I was doing to try to help other people. And he knew that. And so he didn't let me go bankrupt because I was helping people. So those were some setbacks. I mean, gosh, the marriage, I mean, my wife being gone, and some financial setbacks. And I can't think of anything else that comes to mind.
Well, those are some big things, so it's okay if there wasn't anything else.
Yeah, they were. They were big things.
Those are some really big things.
But here I am. I'm still recovered, and even from a broken hip that occurred in a just an exercise on the floor here in my home. But I got that wonderful surgeon at the Cedars-Sinai fixed me up in about an hour and a half, and then two years later, I'm beginning to play golf again and shoot baskets, but also travel and perform. I just performed with my daughter Debbie, "You Light Up My Life," her famous record. She's recorded a lot more since then, but nothing is equaled. It's one of the biggest singles of all time. 13 weeks at number one, "You Light Up My Life." And she just did a concert, and she's about to do another in which I joined her, and we sang some songs together, my daughter. And I'm still able to stand with her and sing with her. So now, who knows, I may wind up doing a concert of my own. There are 3 universities who have things named after me, Christian universities. Pepperdine out here in California. I've been chairman of the advisory board for 40 years at Pepperdine, and we created the Pat and Shirley Boone Family Life Center at Pepperdine, and I've endowed that for the future. And then also at Lipscomb University, a theater, and that's in Nashville, where Shirley and I first met, and where we were when we married at 19, a Christian college again. And another, Abilene Christian, has a Pat Boone Theater in Abilene, Texas. So my name was attached to entertainment, and particularly, of course, especially my my gospel songs. I'm in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, which I'm very proud of for my gospel singing. But then again, I'm being honored still for my pop career.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of hit records. Elvis Presley was my opening act the first time we met, and it was a sock hop in Cleveland, and he had only had one record. He was becoming known as a hillbilly singer, a country singer, but he was wanting to go into rhythm and blues, and what was known as race music, black music. And it was becoming popular in pop audiences just briefly at the beginning. So his only record when we met in Cleveland, and a DJ had us both come to sing, to perform some of our records. We had to lip sync them and sing to them. We couldn't reproduce them in a teen sock hop. But Elvis came in. He had one song, "Blue Moon of Kentucky, Keep on Shining." Well, that was bluegrass. It wasn't rhythm and blues at all. The kids liked the way he looked. I could tell looking through the curtain, but
Yeah.
they didn't. I could see that. What is that song? That's not rock and roll. But then when he finished that song, he said, "Thank you very much. I'd like to do the other side of that record. Hope you like it." And "That's all right, Mama. That's all right with me. Any way you please." That was rhythm and blues, and they liked it, and so did I. And R.C.A. Victor that had just signed him. And then that was all he had, and he got lots of applause from the girls, and when I went on after him, I had 3 million selling R&B hits. Teen Hearts, Two Hearts, Two Kisses, Make One Love, and let's see, Oh, Ain't That a Shame? Fats Domino's huge. That was a million seller for me. It had been 150,000 for him, but he made more money from my record of his song because he owned the song than he had made from his own record. And so Fats Domino and Little Richard and all became fans of mine when I sang their songs. Wop, bop, a loo, bop, a lop, bop, bop, tutti frutti, oh, Rudy. That was Little Richard. And people thought I was taking his song from him, but I wasn't, because he wrote the song. He was making more money from my recording of that song than I was from my own records, because I was on a very small percentage until I had 2 or 3 more million selling hits when my percentage went up. Anyway, that's the way God allowed me to have a very multi-leveled career,
Yeah.
and still come through it doing things that I'd never intended to do. I thought I was going to be a teacher preacher when Shirley and I married, but I made that first record while I was in college at North Texas State, preaching in a little country church in a wheat field with about 40 members. And I was on my way to being a full-time preacher and song leader in the church, and the teacher, school teacher, but teaching Bible as well as English. But God had a better plan for me that would utilize talents that I didn't know I had. But when I began making those records, I found out that I could sing ballads as well as Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra. And I could sing rhythm and blues as well as Little Richard, Tutti Frutti, and country as well as any other country artist. And I could sing any of those very believably, very well. So God knew what I could do. It gave me the opportunities to take me in different directions, but always putting him first in my life, or doing my best to do that, and to be faithful to my wife and faithful to my kids, and not live, although I was a teen idol for several years, but I was a teen idol with 4 little girls and a wife, and becoming known for my Christianity and the books I wrote that were million-selling books that went for kids, Twixt 12 and 20, and Between You, Me, and the Gatepost, and other books that were very strong spiritual efforts to show kids and get them interested in the Bible and in Jesus and in Christianity. To try to use my career as a pulpit, really, and it became that. So that's it. That's how those are the things I remember and I'm thankful for. And I'm going to talk your ears off if you let me.
No, I was going to say thank you because I know your manager's there. I know he probably is like, up, you're way past your time. So I apologize to him if he's listening. But
anyway, thanks for letting me rattle on.
no, it was a gift. I can't believe I got to meet you, and thank you for blessing people with your music and with your story. And I hope that you get to go play golf again. If I live to 91, I hope I look a little bit like you, getting to be able to do those things. I don't know if I want to live that long, but if I do, then hopefully.
Well, I recommend it, especially if you try to live right, eat well, and don't get into bad habits. And fortunately, I never did. And again, that was just God's grace in my life. But I don't know if I'll ever get back on the tennis court, but I do believe I will play golf. Billy Graham loved to play golf. He was good at it.
Yeah.
And so I've got good example.
All right. Well, you're welcome. Bye, Pat. Thank you.